Did you sort of see yourself going into animation when you were young?
Well, my grandmother always said that when I was 5 years old, I said I wanted to work at Disney's. That's about it. But I've always drawn, and I failed 11 plus, along with my siblings, and went to work finally in a factory for 6 years in Southampton.
Yeah.
Hated every moment of it, but I've always used to go home and draw. In the evenings. So I kept my hand in drawing. I just sent comic strips to newspapers and magazines, and didn't get one published. Tried to enter Southampton Art College, but couldn't get in because I didn't have enough qualifications. I'd finished my indentures, as they're called, my apprenticeship. 21. Got a job at W.H. Smith, selling classical music, records. It taught me about classical music, so it's a good 6 months of my life.
Again, this was in Southampton.
Yeah, sure. And I got this book on, I think it was called The Technique of Film Animation by John Hallis. And he had a studio in London, in Soho Square. So I sent him some drawings, and he sent for me. So very nervously went on the train to London. I think it was on my second visit to London in my life. And John interviewed me, John Hallis, and he was Hungarian. Spoke like this, very, very like this. I like your drawings. Maybe we will hire you, but first you must do a test. So I said, yes, okay, I'll do that. So build a light box, which you draw on. So I went home, I built the light box to his, I had to wait 3 months before the test arrived. I was so nervous. It finally arrived, and it was transparent cells, not drawings, and the drawings were on cell, and they were a Popeye. I had to, in between, it's called in-betweening, it's called. What the assistant animator does, the trainee does, you draw between the lines of the animator's lines, and that completes the movement. Anyway, I did about half a dozen drawings and sent them off back to House and Bachelor. And again, waited about another 3 or 4 months. It was agony. By that time, I'd left W.H. Smith and got into a clothing. I was selling suits by that time. Unhappy was the word. I was very miserable. But I cycled home for lunch one day. It was unusual because normally I had a sandwich or took a sandwich to work. But I cycled home, and Mum and my brother David were standing in the living room, and the letter was there on the, propped against the, HP sauce bottle or something, and it was open. It was from Halish and Bachelor Studios, and I was you opened my letter? Oh, well, we couldn't wait, they said, So have you ever seen the film Billy Elliot, Dave? There's a scene there where he gets the same thing. Anyway, I opened it, and it said, you've been accepted as a training animator for £12, 10 shillings a week, which was like £4.50 more than I was getting already. So my mother and brother and I did a dance. In London, I assume this was? Yes, it was, yes. In Soho Square. So we did a dance in the living room, celebrating, and I cycled back and gave in my notice, and that was it. So then I eventually went to Soho Square, very nervous, having not gone to art school. I was very lucky. That's how it started, and then I was put under the wing of an Australian animatress, I guess you call her. I don't know. Incorrect to say that, I don't know. She was a great animator anyway, from Melbourne, Australia. And she was like 10 years older than me, but she seemed much older. I was 21 or 22, I can't remember the age at that time. And she put me under her wing, so to speak, and for the next 2 years I was her assistant, trainee, and she taught me the ropes. And not only that, she lent me books to read. So anyway, long story short, she left and went to work at TVC, TV Cartoons Limited. And then I was put under the wing of another guy came in called Mike Stewart. And I was his assistant for, I suppose, the next year. And we made the Lone Ranger series. I was still an assistant trainee. Did like several series of work, like a TV series for America, the Lone Ranger. And also, before that, at Hammersmith, I'd done Dodo, the Pixie from Outer Space.
Dodo, the Pixie from Outer Space?
Yes, the first thing I ever worked on. I did a stint on a feature film called Ruddimore, the Gilbert and Sullivan opera. Yes. So I worked on that with her. And one thing about these guys, Anne and Mike, they taught me to draw. Within those, 3 years as being an assistant, I learned to draw. And it was amazing. Well, I'm not totally, but it helped along the way. Finally, your own drawing style comes through. It takes many years. It does, And then other assistants have to emulate you, so you pass it on. Then I worked on another studio called White Britannia doing commercials. So we did the Home Pride flower grate, bald-headed men, you know. I think I did my first piece of animation by animating the bald-headed men going into the flower packs. You know. So,
Where he makes finer flour.
Yes, yes.
I can't remember, something like that.
Another 4 months out of my life, it was good grand. Then I walked up to our local animators pub on 5th Street in Soho called the Dog and Duck. It's still there, an 18th century pub, tiny place, but it was the animators pub. And I walked in there and there was Mike Stewart, my old mentor, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, Mark, come and meet John Coates of TV Cartoons, the producer of TV Cartoons. And we're about to embark on he'd been working on a series of Beatles, the Beatles series cartoon. This is before Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
And come and be my assistant if you don't mind.